The path of this storm was so narrow that it only knocked over a few of these flower pots, but about 20 yards away, it ripped a box truck in half. Fire officials now say 7 people needed to be taken to the hospital because of this afternoon's roof collapse here in Berwick. 2 of the dogs rescued from his home were missing eyes. Troopers say they found a gun and money from the robbery inside the car. Everyone made it out safely, but homeowners are devastated. Flowers, pictures, and birthday cards were placed on this bridge in her memory. Right now, crews are taking away huge pieces of jagged metal. Now, emergency officials say the pilot's quick thinking may have saved their lives. Through Lungs for Logan, he was able to raise around $100,000 for a surgery bill in just 10 months. The streets of downtown Stroudsburg are looking a lot more colorful. We're gonna be zipping around the tricky triangle in this puppy. You don't want to miss it. And with weather this nice, some people say the only hazards out there are on the course. State police, dive team members, and firefighters say they wouldn't give up until they found the body of Haley Lorenzen. Tonight at a memorial service, her family was able to thank those first responders, knowing that Haley will finally be at peace. 16 searches for the body of Haley Lorenzen over 7.5 months in the Susquehanna River, all leading up to this moment.
Let us pray.
Family, friends, and even strangers thanking a higher power for finally bringing the body of the 24-year-old with this bright smile home.
Being able to bring her home is a gift. We waited a long 7.5 months, 7 months to bring her home. And now we get to bring her home and not wonder where she is in the river.
Police say Lorenzen's boyfriend, Philip Walters, murdered her and dumped her body into the Susquehanna River from a bridge in Falls Township. Court papers show he may have been involved in a love triangle. Lorenzen moved here from her hometown in Oregon to live with Walters in Wyoming County. Lorenzen's family says they'll remember her as a bright spot in their lives.
She knew when I was coming home from work, and she'd have dinner hot on the table and like a little note saying, "Oh, Dad, I have something in the refrigerator for you, special."
Crews searched for Lorenzen 16 times, but she didn't show up until a kayaker 20 miles downstream near Plymouth found her body.
We weren't going to give up. In fact, we had a search plan for that Sunday after she was found. So, there was no way we were giving up.
Haley Lorenzen lived here in Wyoming County for just 2 months before police say she was killed. But she's made a lasting impact on the people who live here. Flowers, pictures, and birthday cards were placed on this bridge in her memory.
They're feeling the pain we're feeling. They're amazing people, and they'll never forget her.
A lot of people love her here. So that warms our hearts.
Haley will forever be in the hearts of those here in Wyoming County, but her family still feels a hole in their hearts.
I know if she would have had the chance, she would have been a wonderful mother, a wonderful mom.
Lorenzen's family will be having a visitation service tomorrow in Wyoming County. Meanwhile, Walter's trial is scheduled for September. Carolyn Blackburne, Newswatch 16, live in Lackawanna County. A family here in Springbrook Township is devastated. Their barn has been around for the last 160 years, but last night's tornado ripped it apart.
You're pretty sick. You're pretty sick about it,
Joe Iglesia says it was over in about 2 or 3 minutes, but that's all the time a tornado needed to tear apart his family's Civil War-era barn in Springbrook Township.
You didn't have time to be frightened. It just happened that quick. I see it all the time on television, but you don't think it's going to happen to you.
This is crazy.
But this was headed his way. The tornado ripped through his property near Moscow. The National Weather Service says the tornado was an EF0 with winds of up to 70 miles an hour. It tossed trees and tore half the roof right off his barn.
I always said if the barn could talk, built during the Civil War days, can you imagine the stories it could tell?
The barn was built by his wife's great-grandfather. The family even keeps this picture of the workmen ready to start building the barn. The aluminum roof was put on in 2003, but overall, the 19th century construction techniques stood the test of time.
And no nails hold the beams, dowels, wooden dowels.
That's 1800s technology.
Exactly.
Yeah. Winds from the tornado even blew over this apple tree about 50 yards away from the barn, and pieces of the barn were blown into the tree. Even though the Iglesias have a lot of work on their hands, they still say they have a lot to be grateful for.
I'm just thankful that we still have a home to live in, that's all.
The rebuilding process is going to be tough. The family says they want to fix the barn in a way where it will stay true to its 19th century character. But finding a way to do it that's affordable could be difficult. Carolyn Blackburne, Newswatch 16, live in Lackawanna County. Employees with Hillside SPCA say the owner of that filthy house is Vincent Wiest. 2 of the dogs rescued from his home were missing eyes. The rest all had mange.
You're okay, sweetheart.
This is the look of one dog who was just rescued from a home filled with filth. Employees with Hillside SPCA say Vincent Wiest owns this property near Higgins in Schuylkill County. His home covered in feces and urine. Outside the house, state police found 6 barrels filled with the bones of dead dogs, too many to count.
I actually started crying once we walked into the house after seeing all the puppies just laying in their own feces.
One by one in the pouring rain, the 30 dogs and 7 cats rescued from that home were brought inside Hillside SPCA near Pottsville.
I'm not sure if any of the dogs that were inside saw sunlight at all. The 4 dogs that we got outside, they wouldn't stop kissing our faces.
The shelter was already completely full, so employees spent 5 hours making sure the place was ready to take in 30 dogs and 7 cats.
Luckily enough, our small dog area numbers are pretty low right now, so I was able to tell the staff up there to prepare any available space.
Perhaps the most disturbing discovery, though, was the remains of dead dogs found stuffed in barrels.
They were covered in newspaper, and then when you digged farther, you saw bones. We actually found another dead dog there that its skull was actually decapitated from the rest of the body.
Neighbors tell Newswatch 16 Vincent Wiest has been spotted near the property recently. State police are still looking for him tonight. Wiest faces charges of animal cruelty and running an illegal kennel in Schuylkill County. Carolyn Blackburne, Newswatch 16.
Today is Three Kings Day, a holiday celebrated by Christians around the world. A bakery in Los Angeles showed its holiday spirit. It baked up a traditional treat, a king's cake. This one was a little different, though. It was 24 feet long, making it the longest king's cake in Los Angeles history. The tradition started in Spain and is very popular in Latino communities. That king's cake in Los Angeles took 4 days to prepare.